Hey, how's it going everybody? Soul here. So I am finally back with some more Pokemon TCG games for you. So these are actually start of a new series for the channel. These are these and next upcoming games. We are currently doing Friday tournaments at my local card shop up there in Statesville, North Carolina, R&B Games. So every Friday we are going to be doing little $5 3-round entry tournaments. So you know, three best of 3 games, 50 minutes per round. So just like good little practice, so nothing really special. So I am busting, this was from the first one that we did. I'm busting out the Noivern deck again, so I'm trying to see how well this deck does, and I am playing Troy. So I don't think he's a newer player, but I haven't met him until this day. So pretty solid Volcanion player right here. So yeah, so not bad at all. This matchup, I don't really know what to think about it. Of course, this is still me being fairly new to the deck at this point, so I don't know all the ins and outs of matchups and stuff like that, but it seems like Volcanion can be a fairly rough matchup for this deck. Like, you just have a lot of fat, bulky Pokemon that just take forever to kill if you don't, if you can't, get to them in time. So, all right, so I have a pretty sketchy start right here. So, I end up going for the Lele into the end for the following turn, because I have I have a Rainbow Energy, a Noivern in hand, Psychic Energy. I have a bunch of good stuff in hand that I can use the following turn. However, the problem with this though is yeah, if he hits Volcanion and Fighting Fury Belt and 2 Fire Energy, then that's more or less game over for me. Now, I could have gone for a Bridget, and I could have even played that N, or even just like said screw it and Sigamord or something like that, but I wanted to just kind of play the odds on this. I highly suggest not doing that because yeah, it's 9 times out of 10 Volcanions will hit what they need. So they play so much energy, they play their max counts of Fighting Fury Belts, or at least they kind of should. But and he ended up getting a Lily for, I think it was like 6 or something like that. Amazingly though, he only hit 1 Fire Energy. He did get the Volcanion, but he missed 1 piece of the puzzle. So my stupid play ends up paying off here somehow. So yeah, that's yeah, don't do what I do, kids. It's not a smart idea. So he ends up smacking me for, I believe that was 30 there, because I only had the Fighting Fury Belt, and I end up getting my turn 2 Noivern going. So, and I play my N that I got the previous turn from that Tapu Lele. So my bad play ends up paying off, and my bad unsafe play ends up paying off. I definitely, in hindsight, should have played that N turn 1 and hoped for another Noibat or something like that. But whatever, it turned out and panned out in the end, so that's not bad. So but anyway, turn 2, here we go. I got my my Noivern set up, which is pretty good. I even got a Trubbish on the board, 2 Trubbishes on the board, and I get to get a Float Stone on each, which is pretty good. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and Distort, I believe, right here, and that's going to be it. Nice solid 50 damage. It's going to be a while until it can KO this baby Volk, but it's gonna set it up for stuff later. Because I mean, if I get three distorts off on this thing, and he still has that Fighting Fury Belt off on him, then like that's fine. I can just Field Blower that off, and that's just an easy kill right here. And Volk, obviously, it really likes having its abilities, and it really likes having its items and stuff like that. So on paper, you would think this would be a pretty good matchup for Noivern. And yeah, you'd be right, as long as you can get things set up and going. But the problem with that is you gotta get things set up and going, you know? But anyway, enough on, we'll see that more down the road here. So, he got a Sycamore, and he ends up getting some fire energies into that discard with a Steam Up, which is very nice for him. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and be able to Sycamore away even more fire energy. I think he ditched a Float Stone as well there, so that's pretty good for my Trash Avalanche later on. So gets plenty of fire energy to work with right here, which is great for him. And he's gonna go ahead and just Power Eater for I believe 60 that was. So I got a Psychic Energy. I'm gonna go ahead and just attach it to that Trubbish, and I really gotta try to get my ability lock online this turn. So because that really just nerfs the damage output of this deck, and with my Distort going on, then he can't really hit for more than maybe 20, because I knocked off that Fighting Fury belt. So but unfortunately I do miss the turn 3 Garbotoxin, which really sucks. And so that means that he's going to be able to actually Guzma up this Lele, get a Steam Up off, and get a very early 2 prizes off of this Lele. So now this isn't too bad, because that puts his Turtonator down to 1 energy. So he's kind of stuck there. He has obviously the option to Nitro Tank next turn to set his board back up, but he really doesn't have the most intimidating board state. But to be fair, neither do I. So I got a Trubbish with a Psychic Energy ready to turn into a Trash Avalanche, and another Trubbish just chilling there. So I still don't have ability lock online. I do have I think I distorted here just to keep the item lock going. So yeah, but that he is ready for a GX attack, which I believe would knock out the Baby Volk on the bench there. But that's about it. There isn't really much that I've got going for me right now. So he ends up Ultra Balling away Baby Volk and a Fire Energy, pulling something out of the deck. Obviously he can't really play anything. So he's just kind of thinning his deck there before the end, because he is of course ending himself down to 4. Not bad play at all. You kind of want fire energy in the discard, obviously, with Volcanion, and that Baby Volk isn't really doing much for him. So just gonna go ahead and thin a couple cards out of the deck. Could have just failed the Ultra Ball, but I believe he just grabbed a Lele just cause why not. But yeah, so I end into an okay hand. I think I got energy and Float Stones and stuff like that, but I believe that's an Ultra Ball there. I didn't really get to take a good look at it, but so here he drops the multi-switch, and able to pick up that Baby Volk, the energy out the Baby Volk, and he got the Float Stone as well. So okay, so I must have Sonic Volumed the turn before, just to go for a 2-hit KO. So that is very bad for me, because I was not expecting him to be able to get a kill, but no, he pulls out the multi-switch on me, which is crazy. So yeah, so this isn't great for me, so I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away these two, and I make a really bad play here grabbing a Noibat. I definitely should have gone for the Trash Avalanche Garbodor. I believe he has 7 items in the discard at this point, so it would not have been enough for a one-shot, but it still would have been pressure, and it still would have been damage on the board. Well, a lot more damage than I'm about to do here, because I do not get the Trash Avalanche or the Rescue Stretcher off of my Sycamore. and so unfortunately I am just kind of forced to poke at him for 10 damage and hopefully knock off an energy. So yeah, that's not very good at all. I did not play this game very well. I definitely, like I said, should have gone for the Trash Avalanche. Garbodor right here. I do play 2 in the deck, so yeah, I believe I had him in the deck at that point. But yeah, not really much I can do here at this point now, because he even gets the Field Blower, knocks out both of my Float Stones, and I think all of my Float Stones are now in the discard, so not the best situation right here. So yeah, not amazing. So he's counting up his Fire Energy in the discard. He's probably going to be aiming for maybe a Nitro Tank this turn. Of course, his Volcanion cannot attack, so even if he gets an energy on that Volcanion, my Trubbish isn't immediately threatened. But yeah, it's okay. So we're going to go. He's going to go ahead and attach that right there, and I believe he's just going to manually retreat. Yep, he's going to manually retreat into his damaged Turtonator because it does have the Float Stone on it, and he is going to Nitro Tank, setting up his board right here. So now if we're sitting at a regional table, I probably would have scooped right here, because there's really not anything that I can kind of do at this point, but I decided to try and play it out. I believe he has enough items in the discard now that I am in one-shot ranges. I don't know. I might have played out this turn at least, like just try to get a knockout. I might have taken it to this turn, but I don't know. So gonna play my Tapu Lele, which is not great, but I kind of have to. I'm gonna go ahead and end him down to 2. Hopefully maybe I can get my Garbotoxin lock on, because he does have the Oranguru there, so if he gets anything kind of playable, then that's just even more. So now I play a Rainbow Energy onto my Noibat, and that's not amazing for me because that will end up coming back to bite me. So usually the 190 is not that bad, because most things, as long as they don't have abilities and they don't have access to their items, they can't one-shot you anyway. Turtonator is one of those Pokemon. Like, of course, he's hitting for 160 with a Choice Band or a Steam Up. He's hitting for 190. I do not have my ability lock, and I don't think I'm gonna have my item lock in this turn. So he has the potential to knock out a Noivern if I get it active and ready to go. So I end up hitting the Field Blower, knock off that Float Stone and that Fighting Fury Belt. There's no reason not to knock off that Fighting Fury Belt, so, or that Float Stone off the Turtonator, even though I'm KOing it. So end up taking a knockout on the Turtonator, which is great, but he has that Volk just ready to go, and he hits an Elixir, attaches that to his Turtonator, so he's got 4 energies there, so he can hopefully stream his Bright Flames, which I don't think will be necessary, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so not bad. Off of his end to 2, I believe he even has a Sycamore right there in his hand, so he got an amazing end to 2. And a top deck. I don't know which one was the top deck, but man, it's so painful every time you end your opponent down, and then they just like, nah, I got a Sycamore, I'm good. So it's always just so painful when you see that. But yeah, so he's going to go ahead, attach an energy there to his Volk, so he's got even more going on. Volcanic Heat's gonna knock out my poor little Trubbish there, or Garbodor there, and yeah, not much I can really do right here. So I'm contemplating playing the Parallel City, and I do believe I am doing it. He ends get the Parallel City down, and yeah, so that's nice. It's going to nerf his damage output. which is good. It'll hopefully keep me out of KO ranges and stuff like that, but I don't know, we'll have to see how well that goes. So I end up ending him down to 1. Maybe it'll stick this time. Maybe he won't talk deck himself out, and maybe I can get a tool and a Noivern, so I can get my item and ability lock going. So we'll have to see. So I do, of course, end myself to 4. I get the Noivern, but I don't think I get the tool for the Garbotoxin, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. At least we're kind of clawing ourselves back into this match. It's not the end of the world. So I still think that if I was at a regional table or something, I probably would have still scooped here, because there's really not a lot that I could do after he knocked out my first Noivern, and especially after he knocked out my my Trash Launch. So he's gonna discard 3 to manually retreat, and he's got that Turtonator ready to go, and he's got Steam Up. And, wait. No. He was hitting for 170 because of parallel. Huh. Check that out. So yeah, so normally, if without the parallel, yeah, he would be hitting for, 190, but I had the parallel in play, so he would only be hitting for 170. Huh. Well, so I basically threw away the game there, and like he needed a second Steam Up or a Choice Band to knock me out, but whatever. In the end, I don't think it really ended up mattering. So yeah, I guess pardon my stupidity there, because I mean I had the 190 on it because of the Rainbow Energy before, of course. So anyway, so setting up for game 2 here. Huh? I just noticed that right now. Wow. Anyway, so setting up for game 2 here. So he ended up getting a mulligan, which is great for me, because anytime I'm going first with this deck is already a massive advantage. So I get a Trubbish start, but I do have an Ultra Ball, and I believe I have a pretty good hand here. I remember looking at this hand in the playback. I think I got an N, a Noivern, Energy, Floatstone, and Garbotoxin. So I have like everything I need for a turn 2, which is absolutely amazing. So then all I would have to do is right here, I'm going to Bridget for a Lele for Bridget for Trubbish and 2 Noibats. So already off to a much better start right now. So very nice for me right here. So already off to a flying start right here, and yeah, my hand looks absolutely amazing. So I'm just kind of sitting there really hoping that he doesn't end up ending this beautiful hand away, but looking at his hand right here, it doesn't look like he's able to. He's got a Lily, Sycamore, so I think my beautiful, gorgeous, amazing turn 2 hand is active. So he ends up whiffing an Elixir here. That's bound to happen. Even a deck that runs like 15 energies, like these Volk decks usually end up running, bound to happen. So not the end of the world, but yeah. So all right, not really much to say here. I think he's got that Floatstone he could probably put down. Just to draw himself an extra card off of the Lily. So, oh, he's got 2 Floatstones. Check that out. So, he ends up going for the Sycamore instead. So, I think he just really wants some more pressure. He ends up paying off, though, because he gets a 2 Fire Energy. So, he's going to be able to Steam Up and attach for turn for the Power Eater, which is pretty good for him. I'm going to get a little bit of extra damage on that Trubbish, knocking it up to 50. And you will see later that actually turns out to be very important, that 50 damage on that Trubbish. So you'll see that later. Spoiler alert. But yeah, so I get my Noivern in play, and I end. So all I have to get off of this N is N energy. It doesn't matter what kind of energy it is, because I already have the Dark Energy for the Distort. So it doesn't matter what kind of energy it is, I just need N energy off of these 6 cards. So hopefully it shouldn't be too big of a deal, because I have, of course, only played 1 energy. So, and then I will have ability lock and item lock on turn 2, which is, of course, the main goal of the deck. Try to get that item and ability lock going as soon as possible. So, luckily for me, I do land another basic dark, which is amazing, and here we go. The deck is finally firing on all cylinders. So I even get a field blower to knock off those 2 float stones, which is great. And now this Volcanion is just going to sit there poking me for 20 damage every turn while I'm smacking him in the face with Discord. So that's pretty good. And I even got a Sycamore for next turn, Rainbow Energy possibly to attach to that Noivern to start getting that set up. And like I said, yeah, all he's going to do is just Power Eater, hit me for 20. And I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away some stuff. I believe I'm getting my second Noivern out. Yep, I'm getting my other Noivern out. So I am in a much better position here in this game right now. So very good. So I even get my Sycamore. Nice fresh hand of 7, which is very good for me. So yeah, it's not bad, looking pretty decent. Got a Dark Energy for next turn, so I can have 2 Noiverns ready to go. So if I feel like Acerola up that active one or something like that, I can just send another one right out. So finally, the deck is working well. It's amazing. So turn 2 item and ability lock is very strong. Right, but we will see this Volk deck. Troy really brings out the potential of this Volk deck later on in this game, as you will see. So even under item and ability lock right here, he will find a way. So, and you always got to just find a way. So he makes a pretty smart play right here. He ends up manually retreating his baby Volk into this Turtonator, and he's going to just Shell Trap, and it just like forces me to be like, all right, you're gonna hit me. If you want to hit me for 50, you're getting 80 right back at you, and I can't afford to give up my lock, so I kind of have to just eat that 80 damage, which is really unfortunate because, you know, I'm taking more than I'm dishing out, so which really sucks. But it's okay. I do have the Acerola in hand. I am contemplating playing that. I think I probably should have and just promoted the other Noivern. I think I probably should have played that Acerola. Now looking back at this, because he does of course have the Bright Flame here for the next turn. But I actually don't really think it would have mattered because, I mean, I would have had to attack into the Shell Trap anyway, so he still would have gotten the Bright Flame attack off on the following turn. So yeah, I don't think that mattered at all if I had Acerola it or not. So maybe, I guess, good on me for holding the Acerola. But yes, anyway, he's got the Ho-Oh in play, which is very scary because that card is very good, and I really like Ho-Oh. And it's just an excellent late game kind of sweeper Pokemon for this Volcanion deck. Or if you're running the Kiawe build, then it's just an absolutely amazing early game pressure tool. I do not believe Troy is playing Kiawe in his build, and honestly, I think this is actually the better way to play Volcanion. I have no experience with the deck really at all, but I think this is the better way to play Volcanion with, you know, the elixirs, fighting Fury belts, you know, and just I think it's very smart to play it this way. You don't need Choice Band because you have Volcanion just boosting your damage anyway. Survivability is just really strong, and you know, when you got 190 HP Pokemon and you got a Fighting Fury Belt on you, they got to hit for 230, which is very difficult for most decks to do if you're not Gardevoir, you know. So very, and or weakness obviously, but yeah. So I think this is Troy here is playing in my opinion, probably the better variant of this Volcanion deck that's been running around for a long time. So end up playing it anyway. I'm playing a Super Rod right now. Gonna go ahead. I don't even know what I put back in. Probably just some energy and stuff like that. And I took a peep at his discard, and he has just enough. I think he has 3 items in there, so he has just enough items that I can knock out his Turtonator right here with a Choice Band. And my reasoning for this was like, okay, so if I knock him out, then my Noivern isn't exactly ready for the following turn, so he's gonna be forced to Phoenix Burn my thing. But no, Troy sees the play in front of him and sees that 50 damage that he put on that Trubbish on like turn 1, and just snipes me for 50 and knocks out my Garbotoxin. I did not even consider that, and now everything starts going downhill because I do not have my ability lock in play. And yeah, this is just really bad for me, and I don't even have a way to move that Trash Lynch Garbodor, get my Noivern back active to get my item lock back into place. So this not recognizing the play, because I mean, like, let's be honest, like who looks at Ho-Ho's first attack, you know? So yeah, like, very excellent play there by Troy, and like as we'll see here in a little bit, it's just that was the pivotal moment that turns this game around for him. He ends up Guzman up my Noivern here, and he's going to just bring up his Volcanion, manually retreat, Phoenix Burn that my Noivern. I believe all I had was a Rainbow Energy on it, so he's hitting for that perfect 190 again. That Rainbow Energy come and bite me in the bud. And yeah, so man, I do get the item lock, or the ability lock back going, but at this point I think it might be a little too late. So just one explosive turn just turns this game around for Troy right here. So I'm gonna end up laying here. Before I activate my item lock, I pull an Acerola out, and I believe all I'm doing here is just thinning my deck, because I will be playing Sycamore here in a second. So I'm just trying my best to thin my deck out. And right here, also another bad thing for me is, like, I did my math wrong, and I go for the Sonic Volume, because I just did bad math, and I thought it was going to hit the knockout, but like, I can't take it back, because if I'm practicing for regionals, if I say something like that, I can't take it back. It doesn't matter if I did bad math. So he ends up living on one damage counter. So I was 10 damage off, and yeah, so math is important, kids. Math is very important. So yeah, I was probably a little bit flustered, but I don't think it mattered at all anyway, because he had the Guzma in hand. My best bet was like ending him and keep up this Dort lock. So at least me being bad at math didn't really matter that much, because I think he had that Volcanion ready in the back anyway, so he could have just brought up my Garbodor, stranded it if he couldn't get the knockout, and killed it if he could. So anyway, so that's that game. Yeah, not the best play from me, but excellent play there from Troy, and that's why I wanted to highlight this game, because Troy, even though he's up against a very bad matchup on paper, he did an excellent job. He kept his cool, and he brought down the menace that is Noivern Garbodor. So so shout out to him. Excellent game play by him. And yeah, so next up is going to be round 3 of this tournament. We will get onto that whenever I can get up and get one of these up. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to that one tonight. But anyway, enough about me. let's go ahead and get this thing rendering, and I will see you guys later. Deuces.